Well, you actually have a new product called Unplugged Phone.
We do.
Okay.
And it was actually a result of the 2020 election.
Okay.
But seeing what big tech was doing
right.
in shutting down platforms, certain apps, I would say impairing free speech.
Is that one of the phones right there?
This is one of the phones.
Okay.
This is an unplugged phone.
I mean, it looks like an iPhone.
Same camera.
Okay. But when you turn around, it's not an iPhone.
It's our hardware.
Okay.
Our operating system.
Ah.
The difference is an iPhone or a Google mobile services running Android collects all of your data. They know where you go, what you buy, who you call, what you browse.
So this is your own OS, basically.
Correct. And our operating system doesn't have an ad ID. So on the other guy's phones, their ad ID turns on and cooperates with those apps to collect all that information on you and export it to sell to advertisers. This is the antidote to that. It prevents all of that from happening. It's the first phone with a actual firewall that you can hard off. The camera, the microphone, the touch to pay, all those things, so you know it's actually off. It even has a kill switch that separates the battery from the electronics so that off is fully off.
So you can't track it at all once it's off?
Correct.
Aha. Okay. Do you worry about the phone being used by the cartels and various other bad guys as well?
Look, there's lots of ways that people can use sophisticated technology to try to do that. This is designed for free people to be able to communicate freely, because I think it's the kind of the prerequisite to people to live in a republic is they have to communicate freely and have their data be their data. The really troubling thing is the FISA extension, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Congress extended it to now any federal government agent can go to any company that has data off your cell phone or off your cell phone and say, turn it over to me with no probable cause and no warrant.
Yeah, I mean,
that's frightening. That is the antithesis of the First and the Fourth Amendments. This is the antidote to that. And we're selling now. So we did 500 units last fall as a beta test. Got our first 10,000 units in May, and we just reordered another 10,000. You can order at unplugged.com.
Yeah, I mean, I assume when using my phone, every actual voice call is recorded somewhere and stored. I assume every text message is recorded somewhere and stored, every email. So I'm aware of it. There's a reason I've just accepted it at this point.
I haven't.
Okay, that's why you built that. And it's $989.
There's a reason that Mark Zuckerberg paid $20 billion for WhatsApp, because every message, call, picture, voice note that passes through there is analyzed by their algorithm.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned that when I managed to piss off my wife, and she sent me a scorcher of a message on WhatsApp. And for the next 2 weeks, she's getting advertising from divorce lawyers and from Match.com. Not with Unplugged.
A final question before I let you go. I've interviewed a few billionaires over the years. Grant Cardone, he made his...
And you're not one today.
I'm not one today, no. Well, Grant Cardone made his billions in real estate. I've interviewed Vivek, who ran for president. He made his money through,
healthcare,
biotech, and healthcare and so forth. According to the internet, you're worth $2 billion.
Once again, the internet is grotesquely off. I wish that was the case, but that is definitely not the case.
Okay, so it's not that number.
No.
What about $1 billion? Would you say you're worth that?
Way less.
Way less.
Look, I got crushed. I got crushed by 14 years of cancel culture, getting denied capital from banks, from loans, all the rest. Look, boo-hoo, I'm not starving, but I am worth way less than I was when I decided to serve my country. Literally, it would have been better for me to take the proceeds of the sale of my dad's business, put it in municipal bonds, and go to the golf course. Maybe that's the lesson, is don't serve your country, because they'll fuck you for it.
Well, right, because Blackwater paid the highest per capita fine in State Department history.
$42 million.
$42 million.
For actually no damage to national security that they acknowledged in their report. What did they fine us for? For illegally exporting body armor, helmets, zip ties. Why? For a protective team working for the State Department, U.S. Embassy people overseas, while the Bureau of Defense Trade Controls doesn't process the licenses fast enough. Diplomatic security needs people from us. We send them without the license complete because I'm not sending guys naked into a combat zone. Yeah, and they fucked us for it.
I mean, do you think you'd be worth $2 billion if you were able to sell Blackwater for what it was actually?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Yeah. You're not starving these days, so.
I'm not starving. But it's been an interesting ride. And look, and for perspective, I got screwed financially. Veterans lost lives, mental health, limbs, spouses, families. They pay a vastly higher price.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit. And I take great issue with politicians that send people to war in a half-assed way. If you're going to do that, there is no place for half measures. Get it done. And we have politicians that make decisions that they never have to bear the bad consequences for. And that must change.
Well, Erik Prince, I appreciate you coming in. Definitely one of the most fascinating interviews I've ever had. To have someone that really functioned in the military at the highest levels with a private company that you built from scratch. And like you said, you could have taken the money from your dad's company when you guys sold it, put it in the S&P 500, and you'd be a multi-billionaire right now. Absolutely. Without even a question. But you chose to reinvest into something that you were actually passionate about.
I close with, I guess, my proudest professional moment was speaking at the National War College in Washington. So there's 300 colonels. I got out of the Navy. I was like an 03. I was a lieutenant.
Yeah.
All these guys popped to attention, and they, one of the guys came up to me afterwards, and he said, he just came back from brigade command in Baghdad. And he said at the top of his guys' dashboards of the Humvees were the Blackwater call signs and frequencies, because they knew that if they got in trouble, the Blackwater guys would come for them. No question. That's the reputation we wanted to have.
Well, Erik, man, I appreciate everything you talked about today. Clearly an inspiration for generations to come. And I think this is one of the most important interviews that I've ever done. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me, Vlad.
Peace.